onto the D-pad and action buttons. It's called claw because, as you can see, my index finger is shaped as a claw. Now, why claw? The main reason people switch to claw is to be able to move the right analog stick while pressing jump, reload, and pull out builds, and on the left side, edit, inventory, and take the L. The whole point of claw is not taking your thumb off that right analog stick. What this will do is hardwire muscle memory patterns in your brain and make your aim become deadly. Everyone always asks me how I have such good shotgun aim, and this is always because I don't take my thumb off the right analog stick from the minute I get on Fortnite to the minute I get off. You may have noticed when I start my stream, I jump and move around my right analog stick. This is me warming up my aim and reactivating those muscle memory patterns. Also at the start of my stream, I'll jump and do flick shots while farming trees for the same reason. This gets my aim ready for a fight. Now I know people use certain keybinds like R3 to jump, L3 to edit, or whatever, but there are plenty of pro players that have made non-claw controller bind videos, so be sure to check them out. But as far as I remember, this title isn't how to not play claw. This is probably the most important part of claw, yet extremely overlooked. Most people think you can just pick up a controller like you always do, then chuck your fingers up and you're done. This right here is a very uncomfortable position for my index fingers. In fact, it almost hurts. As you can see, I can barely press all the buttons. This brings up a big misconception that people think their fingers are too small to play claw. There's no such thing as fingers being too small to play claw. Watch this, ready? If I hold the controller like this and try and press the buttons, I'm straining my finger trying to press those buttons. But if I rotate my wrist just slightly, all of a sudden, I can press everything with ease. In fact, if my index finger was cut in half, so I had midget fingers, I'd still be able to press every single button. The slight wrist rotation is key. Now this right here is something huge. Because I've rotated my wrist, if my thumb rotates with it, there would be an analog stick down here facing outwards. But there isn't, so I have to reposition my thumb back up on the analog stick, and this is going to make my aim seem off, because I'm no longer pulling and pushing in the same direction anymore. Before, I was pulling and pushing like this. Now I've changed the angle. I'm now pulling and pushing like this. But it doesn't take long for your brain to relearn that muscle memory. It's not like you're picking up a controller for the first time. You're just taking those movements you've learned and recalibrating them to a different direction. I call this the transitional period. The definition of transitional period is the time in which things are changing from one state to another. In this instance, we're changing from standard grip to claw grip, and I'd say this lasts about a week. Considering we got playground and creative, there's no reason why you can't practice this for a few hours a day. Whether that be target practice in playground or 1v1ing your mates in creative, all practice pays off and all hours add up. The most important thing is you don't think you have to go from playing standard grip to claw instantly. This transitional period is all about slowly learning claw over the next week. This means in a public match, play claw when you're looting, running around and farming, but when you get into a fight, if you feel like you're going to choke, go back to how you used to play, finish the fight, and then return to claw. But in creative and playground, religiously play claw, pressing necessary buttons you will need, so when you go back into the game, you don't choke. There's nothing worse than learning a new keybind or button bind. But we all know after a week, you pretty much have it down pat. That's the same with claw. Just be patient. Patience is absolute key when learning anything new. And next up. Which fingers press what buttons? This is something I get asked a lot. Hey Flea, which finger presses R1? Or what buttons does your index finger press? And this is where I go a little more in depth. For me personally, my thumb stays on the analog stick, my index finger presses X, square, circle, triangle, and R1, and my middle finger presses R2. 99% of the time. 1% of the time is in rare cases in which I need to do specific tasks which involve me to have my index finger on the action buttons while pressing R1, such as jumping and placing a flat. Remember, the whole point of learning claw is keeping your thumb on the analog stick. So I could just jump and place flats like this, but I can't move in the direction I want to consistently. I have to keep taking my thumb off the analog stick. Now, I don't want to confuse you with finger swapping, because it took me a while to learn it, and I'm still practicing certain things, but I'll put them all in an advanced claw tips video for all you claw sweats that want to get sweatier. Here on screen I have a few pro players who all play claw completely different. Here's Chronic Lewis. As you can see, he uses his index finger for the action buttons, but he uses his middle finger for R1 and R2. whereas I use my index finger for R1 and middle finger for R2. I know a lot of players that do this, but I also know a lot of players that use their index finger for R1. So just find what works for you. Next we have Chronic Tendi, but he actually brings his ring finger up onto R2 and moves all his fingers down one. So that means his middle finger now presses R1 and his index finger presses all the shape buttons. So no fingers are rotating, he's got one finger on everything that he needs. This is a very advanced claw method, and I don't recommend starting off with this. I also find it really hard to hold the controller with just your pinky, considering every other finger is busy. So you'd have to have your hands sitting on your lap to do this method, so I don't recommend it. One thing I noticed with Tendi is that his right hand isn't hugging the controller. It's actually coming out of it, which gives his index finger a more natural motion and makes the buttons a lot easier and pain-free to press. Unlike FaZe Swan, he has his hand hugging the controller and his index finger crunched up when pressing the buttons. There's no right or wrong way to hold the controller, it's just what works for you. In my personal experience, the more crunched up your finger is, the more pain your knuckle's gonna be in. So the more natural motion you can get pressing the buttons, the less pain you're gonna be in and the better it is gonna be for claw. Swan also keeps his index finger on the action button and lets his middle finger do R1 and R2, just like Chronic Lewis. A good friend of mine, Chronic Trap, does exactly what I do. His index finger is on the action buttons, but also swaps up to R1 when he needs. When I bring my index finger down to the action buttons, it looks like this. Whereas Trapped has a bit more of a wrist rotation, once again it all comes down to what you're comfortable with and what works for you. As long as your thumb stays on the analog stick and your index finger on the action buttons, you can do whatever you want. Now we're going to be talking about pain and injuries, but first, here are some gameplay examples. Okay, now probably the most opinionated topic, pain and injuries. Now I did a little bit of research and this is what I found. Most articles mainly talk about carpal tunnel syndrome, which for those of you that don't know, it's a swelling of the tendons in your arm caused by repetitive use of your fingers and wrists. I searched up and not once did it mention the word claw. It was mainly just talking about gaming as a whole, so PC and console. As far as what I read, and I have to agree, not what you're doing, but how long you're doing it for. Yes, of course, gaming for 8 hours straight playing claw is going to come with some health risks. Hell, even I remember when I was grinding wins in Season 3 for over 8 hours a day, my knuckle would flare up and be in a little bit of pain. But I don't play that much anymore, so I've got serious issues, and so have many other claw players that I know. And I'm always stretching my wrist, forearms, and fingers to make sure they're not tightening.
19 on claw, basically.
And as far as arthritis goes, there is
Which is my first time, basically.
Plain claw causes it. In fact, no one really knows if excessive finger use even causes arthritis. I mean, it's recommended no more than 2 hours of repetitive finger activity without a break or stretch anyways. I mean, if this, and this, and this, and this is going to cause arthritis, then our whole generation is going to have fucking arthritis. We're all going to be 50 years old walking around with fucking scary movie 2 hands. Yeah, oh, take my hand! Ah! You're gonna fall unless you take my hand! But I'd rather not live my life avoiding everything that may potentially hurt me and just be smart about what I do and keep it in healthy moderation. So that hopefully concludes this long-awaited video. And if you made it this far, drop a heart emoji in the comments and I'll favourite them all. If you got a question, type it afterwards. I'll be replying to all comments. And if you thought I missed something, let me know. I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope to help a few of you out. I know it was in high demand, so I'm glad I could get it out there. Once again, if you guys could drop a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Creative YouTube_Flee. You guys are fucking legends. Thank you all so much for support on the channel. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.
How to be good at core. I don't even know what this is, would do bad for my health. This is how it's work. Fuck. I can't even build now. Fuck, this is hard. So apparently it took this guy 1 week to get used to core, and then he's been doing it for 8 years. He said he played core for 8 years and he's good at his edits. Fuck. Now, if I get good at core, I'll start using it. This is me without playing core. Then you guys know my edit key one's triangle. If I had a hand cam, I would, but I just can't right now. I might do a thing where this guy's doing like 1 week in process of core. Fuck, I can't do anything. When it's on the holidays, I'll need that video because I can't like do it on like a week, like saying Monday and shit. Got school and shit to do. Guys, you do not do it for like more than 8 hours, or you're gonna have serious handed knuckle injury or something. So only do it for 2 hours a day. I've been doing this for like half now, and I was just about to live stream. So until it hits like what, an hour and 52, I'm gonna get my hand a stretch and shit. I'll be back in like an hour or something. Because if I look it up on YouTube right now, which is what to these people I'm watching, if you guys know who they are. How long should play core for? No, not that. Oh, it's not on the internet. Google. How long should should you play core? Hello? Hey. I'm still learning how to play core right now. I'm trying to do core. And I was trying to figure out how long I used to be playing core for. So, because the person said 2 hours a day. Because you can have health issues or something. I don't know, because I heard you could only play for like 2 hours for core. Love ya. Fucking hell, I can't even play right now. So the main thing you have to learn how to edit and build. It's like I'm already getting used to building, but I'll still practice. Hey Connor. It's so hard to play core. Finally, Connor unboxed me. Oh wow. You know I already apologized to your friend. You know that, right? It's funny as hell. And if you really don't want to be in it, why can't you just even just block me again and invite your friend? I don't care. I heard about you just talking behind me, saying, "Oh, I have a mental problem and shit."
That's what Hayden said about me.
Connor, are you gonna keep me unblocked or are you just gonna block me again? It's up to you, because I already said sorry to you. Yes, you did. Caden told me. I had mental problems. No, I don't. Well, anyway, Connor. So you want to be friends or not? It's up to you. I'll send your phone calls if in case you do. So now I'm just trying to play cool. And I did say sorry to like Chris and stuff. Saying all about that other stuff I talked about. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my computer. Okay, I won't do it again. Gonna do like 1v1 or something on Fortnite while I'm on my new settings. Core is so hard.
What the hell is core?
Core.
What?
It's CLAW. Core. It's like your two index fingers like on like two different sides and like they're like quite weird. Yeah, and he plays core. I'm on this guy named Foy or something. But it's like hard to edit and build. Because once you start using it, it'll be that hard to get used to. It took this guy like 8. Because this guy started doing core 8 years ago. And if you do like tie your index fingers and your finger and like your knuckle get that sore. Because my friend hurt himself from doing core because he'd been hugging his like, half of his fingers together. That's how it made him. So you gotta create space outside your fingers, basically. I want the emote no sweat. It's the floss emote. And does Kaden always hop on that every Friday or every day?
Every Monday. I mean, every Friday.
Oh, don't even know why. So what does he even do for when he's like bored? It's like I'm getting good with my 90s on core right now. But the other builds I built is so bad when I started playing core. But I started playing. Okay, I'm in the game and. What the hell? Cool. It's basically like you have your two index fingers like on the R1 and L1 and R2 and L2. You have them and then you have to like move your like middle finger on R1, then your finger near the middle, like near the pinky one. And then you have to put that on. Then you have to put like your second finger next to your first finger on the like in the middle of your X, circle, and square. And your other hand has like the same thing, but you keep your thing on your moving button. If you watch my thing, you'll see how I play, but I'm not that good at it. And you're supposed to be on it for like 2 hours for core, so you don't have like major injuries on it. I've only been on it for an hour or something. Because you could probably do it on your on my old settings. I could probably do it, but I would probably wanna not do it because like you won't like every time. Is it what is it? Duos, squads? Well, how are we gonna post it to it? Okay. I honestly might move on to my old settings, but I'll play Claw on that. Honestly. It's like you just hold triangle and then that doesn't be a bit hard. Much harder. Oh shit. Give me a second, I'm just gonna go back on the core settings on the triangle. Just give me a second, because I will know more about that more than... I've been playing triangle as my edit for like, what, how long now? 4 months now? Around there? Or when Sway made his first edit video. Oh, what am I gonna show you then? Like, do I show you how I build or something? Give me a second, I'll send you a photo of how cool it is. Just give me a second. Cool. It's actually like a sweaty way to win. Basically, it's like another way to win, but it'll take time. Fortnite. Cool. Just give me a second. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, just what? Okay, okay, I'm gonna save that photo. Okay, I'm back. Here. This is my rusty ass build if you see. I've started playing Claw. It's like hard as hell. Do you see the image? Okay, where are you? But these are new settings by the way, so I'll be a bit lost too. Okay. Just gotta get my fingers ready. Yeah, better. Okay. See, I'm very bad at it. I'll give you perm so you can fly. So you can get my own. Oh, you're very laggy. You're very laggy. Sneak it back on face. Ow. Okay, I'm maiden is good. No, what the fuck? There. Okay, inventory place marker. Okay, just give me a second. Place marker, replace estimate. Card comms. Toggle pickaxe, that's toggle. No, prepare. Who has a sword I can hear? Yeah. Inventory. Change material swap. Open. Hang on, Connor. So I could confirm.
Why is it so fucking hot in my room? Don't ever compare me to one of these. Ever. Look how many Dark Bombers there is. There's like 15 Dark Bombers. No, there's like 2. There's like 4. Are we getting in a different color or are we just waiting? I'll just leave them. Alright, I'm gonna just put them all. It's very tough.
I laid down an explosive. Death toll 1. Hidden trap by window C4 under the floor. I know all my deaths by heart. Every headshot, every stupid mistake and miscalculation. But I assure you, I'm not the one who will die today.
Dude, I can't put on my normal settings because I was just getting this thing.
Can you send a link real quick while I order my phone? Yeah. Excluded, are you watching with us? This movie's fire. Yeah. Right back. Wait, you want that? Did you watch it already? Come in. Oh, fuck. I am about this thing for me. I got very people right now.
So I can't even double it anymore. Who got it? I don't have Partisan Plus. Who got the game, Connor? My friend who? No, I don't know him. Is this him? I'm like already used to it, kind of.
Welcome to the Resistance. Build a perfect team and take the city back. Any London Cup. Next recruit can play as anyone. And they've all got their own gameplay skills. That's Victor. He only takes half the amount of damage after his nectar bites. And her, that's Sue, top-notch lawyer. She can get you out of jail automatically. Building a team with diverse skills will be critical to your success.
Should I miss? Oh, you're so lucky, Sway. Sway, please. Come on, bro, you're lucky. Show me stuff, Sway. Show me stuff, Sway. Creative warrior no more. Shoot up tunnels, Sway. Oh, boy, everybody. Shoot up tunnels. Shoot up tunnels.
You have a bad mind.
Bro, I don't know who it is, bro. The Shockwave. Got it, Hey, Shaw. I'm no man, Troy. No more. No man, Troy. I don't know. I need to get used to new binds so I don't break my paddles every other day because I have the same every time I shoot a gun I get shot by 3 people. It's about maintenance and shit out there, so how should I go? I got you one person, 3 niggas off the woods. That was the video shot. Yeah, I shot you and I got shot by 3 niggas. Like bro, this kid is following me. Shit on, dumbass. That wasn't me, that wasn't me, that wasn't me. I don't know why, I just shit on someone now. Sway's holding me. Oh my god. Fucking virgin! Holy shit, brother. Wait, why is it not letting me load? Nice. You fucking pussy, why? Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm having a hard time, man. Not like this every time.
Actually,
Look at you, dumbass.
I don't have any.
What? Put it in my head! Alright, go for eye launch. Oh yeah, easy take, bro. Fuck! Easy take. Didn't see this nigga coming, bro. Hi, no man. Wait, please leave me alone. Wait, why did you jump from high? Just say, why can't you leave me alone? I have no mask. Why can't you leave me alone? Just to kill a shot, you dropped from high. I'm ruining your clip. Follow.
code Shaw on YouTube. Support our creator code Shaw.
Follow.
This is gonna be on Sway's. This is gonna be on Sway's YouTube. It's gonna be on Sway's YouTube channel. So use code Shaw in the item shop. You know the Vibras.
Yo, don't forget to follow on YouTube.
Follow on YouTube. Let me find out Sway.
Come on.
Let me find out Sway.
Come on, Sway by.
Heard you, Mr. Savage. Hit the jump pad. You can get high.
You got campfires. Oh my God, so you got penises.
Oh, so you have high on.
You were searching, hello?
No, you would say you have aim assist and you're still missing.
Yeah, like,
You have to build above you, Sway.
bro, he has no match. Hey, come on, Sway.
Alright, that's another clip. Chuck it.
The storm is coming. It's right there.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god.
What's up, guys? This video took like 6 hours to make, so please like this video and subscribe if you guys are new. This really took so long to make, and don't forget to use code YOSWAY for the item shop, right, guys? I'm out. Love you guys.
This 8-year-old is better than you at Fortnite. Like you than me. Guaranteed. If you win this game, Jarvis is kicked from the FaZe house. Yo, Jarvis, bro. Jarvis, I know you're practicing building with Del Turbo right now, but you need to better than I can. Huh? Now, what do you mean? Everyone's been saying this is the 8-year-old that is better than TQ, better than Jarvis, better than Ninja Man. I've heard them say everything. Now it's time to actually see what they're talking about.
Phase up.
He did the phase up, that's lit, man.
Got retail? Yeah, I don't know. I hate this spot burn.
You hate this
Zombies
spot?
and stuff.
I know, man, I know. But he's an 8-year-old kid, man. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's hot drop, so it's definitely gonna be a lot.
We're giving him a great chance right now.
He knows what he's done.
I wasn't doing this when I was 8 years old. I know that for a fact. I wasn't that good, man.
The guy, like, right outside the door.
He's pushing this guy. Oh my gosh, man. Yo, okay. Alright. 1 kill. I like that, man. You know, it's better than nothing. This is the first game of his we're watching. We didn't expect anything, man. I hope he wins this game right now. How crazy would that be if this guy, right, Junior, wins this game of Fortnite? Jarvis has to move out of his base house. Where are you gonna move?
Bro, I didn't know whether this guy was actually good or not.
So you kind of just said it like that. Oh well.
I don't know.
We'll see, man. We'll see what happens, bro. Oh, he's going right next to that zombie spawner. I don't like that. To be fair, he's straight up like hunting people. He doesn't. He's not running.
Oh wait.
Okay.
One of them.
No, wait.
Oh.
Wait, what? I thought that was a zombie.
He's pretty good. He's a lot better than I thought he was.
That's what I'm saying, man. Jarvis just said that to you guys. This is FaZe Jarvis saying, man. And obviously, like, I personally
I'm just playing.